In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up Visual Studio Code for remote development using the Remote Tunnels extension. I'm going to connect VS Code on my Mac OS to my Synology NAS. The source code and all of the compute will happen remotely on the NAS. But before we set it up, let's take a look at what we're trying to achieve. So here I am in VS Code. I'm connected through the remote tunnel, and I can verify that I'm on my Synology by running uname. I can see, there we go, we got Synology. So I can go over and I can clone a repository from GitHub. Let's pull something down, something that's written in .NET. Pull in my own stuff here. I'm going to put it just in my home directory. That sounds good. Okay, and now if we go over to our source code, I can see I've got all of my files here. And if I look at what I've got, I can go into the source directory and I can run .NET build. So this is all happening over on the Synology. And don't forget to install the CS dev kit as well to get really good support for .NET solutions. So that's what we're going to be doing today. The first thing we need to do is install some new packages on the Synology NAS. These packages come from community contributors of systemctl.com, and these will allow us to install things like Git or Nano, the terminal file editor. From the main menu, open up the package center. Now I've already got mine there, so I've got a community tab on the left-hand side. To add yours, click on settings on the far right. At the top, click on package sources. And you're going to add a new package source. I've named mine Syno Community, and the location is going to be https://packages.synocommunity.com. After you click OK, you should now see the community tab on the left. And if you click on it, you'll see all of the new options you have for downloading software from the community. There are two packages we want to install right now. The first is Git. This will be the Git CLI that will be available after we SSH into the Synology. If you tap on Git, you can then click install. The second package we want to install is called the Syno CLI file tools. Do the same thing here. We're going to click on that and install that. That will give us Nano. From the terminal, we're going to SSH into the Synology NAS. Okay, great. So now what we want to do is we want to use wget to download the installer for .NET. I've got this copied, so you can check the description below for the exact syntax for this command. That will install our sh shell script. And what we need to do is we need to tell that this is a executable. So we're going to use chmod +x on the file that's right in our directory here. And now from here, we can execute that. And what we want to do is we want to specify that we want the latest version of .NET. So we're going to use that like there and say the latest. Now, depending on your internet connection speed, it's going to download and install this. So give it a minute. Great, so mine's finished up. And if we take a look at the current directory, we can get rid of this shell script because we no longer need it. So we can remove .NET install. And if we do LSA, we'll actually see that we've got a .NET directory, which is hidden. And inside here, that's where it's installed .NET 6.2. So if we take a look here, we've got a file .NET, which is executable. So if we do /.NET and we say, give me the version, it'll work. We have one small problem to solve, and that's making sure that no matter where we are in the file system, .NET is recognized as a valid command. And we do that by simply adding the .NET install directory to the user's path. If we take a look at our path variable right now, we can echo out $path. We'll notice that .NET is not part of the path. That means we can't call it from wherever we want inside our project directories. So what we need to do is we want to use Nano to create a file called .profile. And this is going to be in our home directory. And inside here, we want to add something to our path. I've got it copied. So take a look at the video description for the exact syntax, but make sure that you change yours to reflect where your home directory is. Obviously, I've got my username in there. I'm going to save this file and exit out. And now I'm going to disconnect from SSH and kind of simulate that I'm going back in. Now, if I run .NET and I say version, I'm just in my home directory. I'm not in the install directory, but this will now work because it is part of our path. And if we take a look of the path variable again, I'll see that that has been appended to the end. Next, we'll install the VS Code CLI. This will allow you to run a headless instance of VS Code. You can connect to this instance through a secure tunnel using VS Code on your computer or through vscode.dev in the browser. The Code CLI is available for different architectures. Since I'm using the Synology DS220+, that means that I have the x64 architecture. So the download I'm going to use is x64. Make sure you're using the right one for your system. You can check the video description for this command if you'd like. So that's going to download the VS Code CLI. And if we take a look here, there it is. We just need to extract it now. So I'll use tar xf, and we'll say the file that we've downloaded. And that's going to extract it right where we are, and we've got a code executable. So we can launch this right now, and we can start up a tunnel by saying /code and tunnel. What this is going to do is it's going to give us a GitHub URL where we're going to type in this code to authorize and create the secure tunnel. So I'm going to copy that address into the browser and type in my code. Let's say continue and then authorize. Okay, so back over here, this should detect that we've created the tunnel. Mine is called the Death Star, so it's successfully connected at this point. So the next step is we can head over to VS Code and connect to it. But we have one little problem. That problem is as soon as we close that terminal, our tunnel is going to be shut down. So we won't be able to kind of leave this running all the time. What we actually want to do is install that tunnel as a service. So every time our Synology NAS reboots, the tunnel comes back up. Let's see how to do that. What we want to do next is we want to copy the code file into somewhere where our service can pick it up from. So right now it's in our home directory, and we want to actually move that to user local bin. So I'm going to copy code to user local bin. Next, we want to create a systemd service file. As of DSM-7, we're using systemd as our service manager. So to manage all of the services, let's change directories to systemd. Now inside here we can see all of the services that are set to start. We want to create a new one. So I'm going to use nano again to create one called code-tunnel.service. And inside here, I'm going to paste in the service file and make a couple of edits. Take a look at the video description for the GitHub gist that contains what I'm pasting in. The main thing to realize here is that the description is something meaningful. It tells us that it's Visual Studio Code Tunnel. And we want to make sure that we're executing this as the proper user because we're going to have our projects inside of our home directory. We want to make sure that this service has access to all of those files. So in my case right there, it's my username. And on Synology, the group name is actually just users. And then the execution statement here is going to be user local bin code. So that's where we've copied that file to. So just double check that it's in the right location where this service is going to call it. And you'll notice that I'm saying start the tunnel. So that looks like all set. I'm going to save this file and exit out there. The next step here is we need to refresh the services that are there because we've just added one in. So we'll use systemctl to do this. We'll say daemon-reload. Okay. Now we want to enable our new service that we've just created. So we're going to use systemctl to enable our code tunnel. Great. And now let's turn it on. So we're going to say okay. So at this point, our code tunnel is up. So we can go to somewhere and connect to it. All right, this next step can be done many different ways. I'm going to take a quick way by clicking on the bottom left corner here in the green, and I can open a remote window. And what I want to do is I want to launch a tunnel. I'm going to pick that one. Now, if you don't have the remote tunnels extension installed, this is automatically going to do it for you. And because I'm already signed in using my GitHub, it's automatically detected that I have that authorized server. So all I need to do is pick that one. So it's going to connect into my tunnel. It's running as a service in the background over there. And now if I take a look at my terminal, I am on my Synology. So if you were to, clone a repository or open a folder you already have, all of that compute is now happening on the Synology, and it's no longer on your computer. So you could do this from the browser, you could do this from your iPad, and you have the exact same environment every single time. So I'm just going to demonstrate that here we are on the Synology, and I'm going to run the .NET version, and it's just like I was over on the terminal, and I've got full remote capabilities from just any device I want. I hope you found this video on connecting VS Code to a remote computer using the remote tunnels extension useful. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks for watching.